For 35 years, a mysterious balloon appeared above America, and no one knew who owned it. The morning air in the frantic final days of World War II was crisp, carrying the scent of pine and the deceptive promise of peace. For the Reverend Archie Mitchell and his pregnant wife, Elsie, it was supposed to be a day of reprieve, a simple picnic to escape the anxieties of a world on fire. Archie drove the sedan up the winding logging road of Gerhardt Mountain, the tires crunching over gravel. In the back, 5 children from his Sunday school class laughed and jostled, eager for an adventure in the woods. They were miles away from the bloody beaches of the Pacific or the rubble of Berlin. Here, in the heart of Oregon, the war felt like a distant nightmare, something read about in newspapers but never touched. They found a perfect clearing. As Archie stopped the car to get the lunch basket from the trunk, Elsie and the children, Sherman, Jay, Edward, Joan, and Dick, spilled out onto the grass. They ran toward the tree line, their voices echoing through the trees. Then one of them shouted, a sound of pure curiosity. "Look, someone left a balloon!" Archie paused, a sandwich basket in hand. He looked up to see the group gathered around something white and strange nestled in the forest floor. It looked like a collapsed parachute, or perhaps a large, deflated weather balloon made of thick paper. "Better not touch it," Archie called out, taking a step forward. He was too late. A blinding flash turned the Oregon forest white. A thunderous boom shattered the silence, rolling down the mountain like an avalanche. The explosion was instantaneous and devastating. In a split second, the tranquility of the American mainland was violated. When the dust settled, Archie Mitchell stood alone in the smoking clearing. His wife, their unborn child, and 5 neighborhood children lay dead around a smoldering crater. They were the only combat casualties to die on the continental United States during the entire Second World War. But what killed them wasn't a saboteur, nor a stray American bomb. It was a ghost, a weapon that had floated silently across the largest ocean on Earth, riding the wind, designed by an enemy thousands of miles away. This is the story of the Fugo, the phantom balloons, and the secret war that America fought in its own skies. To understand the horror of Gerhardt Mountain, we must travel back 3 years and cross the Pacific to the Imperial High Command in Tokyo. By 1942, Japan was reeling. The Doolittle raid had stunned the nation. American bombers had struck Tokyo, proving the emperor was not untouchable. Japan needed a way to strike back at the American mainland, to spread panic and fire in the cities of the West Coast. But they had no long-range bombers capable of the round trip. Enter the scientists of the 9th Army Technical Research Laboratory. They proposed an idea that sounded like madness: intercontinental balloon warfare. They had discovered a secret of the atmosphere, a river of air flowing high above the Pacific Ocean at 30,000 feet. Today we know it as the jet stream. In the 1940s, it was a mysterious force. The Japanese realized that if they launched a balloon into this current, it would be carried directly to North America in just 3 to 4 days. The engineering challenge was immense. The balloon needed to survive the freezing vacuum of the upper atmosphere. Rubber would crack. Canvas was too heavy, so they turned to tradition. They used washi, paper derived from the kozo bush. It was durable, lightweight, and waterproof. Thousands of Japanese schoolgirls, as young as 12, were drafted into cavernous factories. They were told they were building weapons to kill the American devils, but they had no idea what they were actually making. For 12 hours a day, their small fingers pasted sheets of paper together using konnyaku, devil's tongue paste. If their hair fell onto the paper, or if a seal wasn't tight, the balloon would fail. It was a weapon built by children to kill children. The mechanics were ingenious. The balloons carried incendiary bombs and a single 33-pound anti-personnel fragmentation bomb. To stay aloft, the balloon used a complex system of altimeters and sandbags. When the balloon dropped too low at night, as the gas cooled, a small charge would blow, dropping a sandbag to lighten the load. When it rose too high in the sun, a valve would release gas. It was an automated robot, drifting silently across 5,000 miles of ocean. On November 3, 1944, the assault began. 9,000 balloons were released. The wind ship weapons were on their way. In America, the first signs were baffling. In December 1944, coal miners in Wyoming saw a parachute drifting down. In Montana, a fireball appeared in the night sky. In California, farmers found strange paper debris stamped with Japanese characters. The U.S. military was stumped. Was this biological warfare? Were they dropping spies? The debris was analyzed. The sand in the ballast bags was examined by geologists who traced the mineral composition to a specific beach in Honshu, Japan. They realized the terrifying truth. Japan was bombing America from home soil. Panic set in at the highest levels of the U.S. government. If the public knew that Japan could float bombs over their houses at will, the psychological impact would be devastating. Even worse, if the Japanese realized their balloons were actually reaching America, they would launch thousands more. They might swap the firebombs for anthrax or plague. The Office of Censorship took an unprecedented step. They issued a blackout order. No newspaper, no radio station, and no sheriff was allowed to report on balloons or unidentified explosions. It was a gamble. By keeping the public in the dark, they denied the Japanese feedback. Japan listened to American radio, waiting for reports of forest fires and explosions. When they heard nothing, absolute silence, they assumed the weapon was a failure. But the silence came at a terrible cost. Because of the blackout, civilians like Archie and Elsie had no idea that strange white balloons in the forest were deadly. They had no warning. The government had prioritized national security over specific public safety, a decision that would weigh heavily on the conscience of censorship officials for decades. Back in the Oregon woods, the tragedy of the Mitchell family finally broke the silence. The deaths were too significant to hide. The war was almost over, and the danger to civilians was now undeniable. 3 weeks after the explosion, the U.S. government lifted the blackout. They flooded the radio waves and newspapers with warnings. Don't touch strange objects in the woods. They taught children what the balloons looked like. It worked. Farmers, cowboys, and hikers began reporting them by the hundreds. They were found in Alaska, Washington, Oregon, California, Arizona, Texas, and even as far east as Michigan. One balloon draped itself over high-tension power lines in Washington state, causing the reactor at Hanford, the secret facility producing plutonium for the Nagasaki bomb, to shut down temporarily. The irony was staggering. A paper balloon made by schoolgirls briefly halted the production of the weapon that would end the war. In late 1945, after the surrender, American troops entered the Japanese balloon factories. They found the empty halls where the paper had been pasted. They interviewed General Kusaba, the architect of the program. He was stunned. He believed the project had been a total failure because he had never heard a single report of them landing. He admitted, "We thought they all fell in the ocean." In reality, of the 9,000 launched, experts estimate about 1,000 reached North America. Only about 300 were ever found. That means hundreds of them, phantom bombs carrying 1940s explosives, likely still lie rotting in the deep forests of the Pacific Northwest and Canada, buried under decades of pine needles and snow. The story of the Fugo balloons is a testament to the ingenious of war and the tragedy of silence. It is a reminder that in a global conflict, there are no front lines. The war can drift on the wind, silent and white, landing in a peaceful picnic grove on a Saturday morning. Today, a stone monument stands in the Gerhard Mountain wilderness, listing the names of Elsie, the unborn child, and the 5 children. It stands as a lonely sentinel to the only place on the American continent where the sky itself became the enemy